What if I told you that beneath the soil we walk on every day, terrifying truths are buried? Truths that reveal the darkest sides of humanity, unexplainable mysteries, and discoveries that should perhaps never have been uncovered. From cursed tombs and ancient mass graves to horrifying rituals frozen in time, archaeology has unearthed things that keep even the bravest scientists awake at night. These are not just dusty relics or broken statues. These are chilling reminders of the brutal, mysterious, and sometimes terrifying world of our ancestors. Today, we uncover the most terrifying archaeology discoveries ever found on Earth. 1. The Screaming Mummies of Guanajuato, Mexico. Archaeologists in Guanajuato, Mexico, discovered naturally mummified corpses dating back to the mid-1800s, but what made them truly horrifying was the twisted, screaming expressions frozen on their faces. Many appeared to have died in agony, some possibly even buried alive during cholera outbreaks. Walking into the museum where these mummies are displayed feels less like visiting a historical site and more like stepping into a nightmare frozen in time. 2. The Headless Vikings of Dorset, England. In 2009, archaeologists in Dorset stumbled upon a mass grave unlike anything they expected. Buried in a shallow pit were the remains of at least 54 Viking warriors, but every single skeleton was headless. Their skulls had been tossed into another pile a few feet away. Evidence suggested they were executed brutally, stripped naked, and humiliated before burial. It was a discovery that shocked historians and revealed the sheer brutality of ancient warfare. 3. The Claw of a Dinosaur-Sized Bird, New Zealand. Deep within a cave on Mount Owen in New Zealand, archaeologists uncovered a terrifying relic, a mummified claw with flesh and tissue still intact. At first glance, it looked like something from a horror film, sharp, monstrous, and clearly not human. Later studies revealed it belonged to the extinct moa bird, a massive, flightless creature standing up to 12 feet tall. The terrifying part? This claw looked so fresh that explorers thought it had belonged to a creature that had died only recently, raising chilling questions about what else might still lurk in the wilderness. 4. The Bog Bodies of Europe. Across the peat bogs of northern Europe, archaeologists have uncovered hundreds of perfectly preserved corpses dating back thousands of years. Many still had their skin, hair, and even clothing intact. But what truly horrified researchers was how they died. Most had been tortured, strangled, stabbed, or drowned in ritual sacrifices. Their expressions of pain were so well preserved that staring at them feels like looking directly into the eyes of someone who died in agony thousands of years ago. 5. The Plague Pits of London. During construction projects across London, archaeologists have repeatedly uncovered mass graves filled with skeletons from the Black Death. In one discovery, over 3,000 skeletons were packed together, victims of the deadliest pandemic in human history. Standing in front of these plague pits, archaeologists could almost feel the despair of a time when entire neighborhoods were wiped out within weeks and the streets were filled with the dead. 6. The Sacrificial Tower of Children, Peru. In 2019, archaeologists in Peru uncovered one of the most chilling discoveries in history. The remains of over 140 children, sacrificed in a mass ritual by the Chimu civilization more than 500 years ago. The children's rib cages showed evidence of being cut open, likely to remove their hearts. The site suggested the sacrifice was made to appease the gods during catastrophic flooding. It was proof that even innocent children were not safe from the brutal demands of ancient rituals. 7. The Ghostly Footprints of White Sands, New Mexico, USA. At White Sands National Park, archaeologists discovered fossilized human footprints stretching for miles, dating back more than 23,000 years. But what terrified researchers was not just their age, but what they revealed. The prints showed humans being stalked by giant Ice Age predators like dire wolves, saber-toothed cats, and even enormous ground sloths. The eerie discovery is like a frozen scene of a deadly hunt, where humans were not the hunters, but the prey. 8. The Screaming Skull of Dorset, England. In an old manor house in Dorset, archaeologists found a skull dating back centuries that locals claim is cursed. The legend says the skull screams if it is moved or disturbed. The artifact has terrified generations, with reports of strange sounds, misfortunes, and even poltergeist activity. While some dismiss it as folklore, the fact remains. Few dare to test the curse by tampering with the skull. 9. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang, China. The first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, was buried in one of the most elaborate tombs in history, guarded by the famous terracotta army. But archaeologists have never opened the main chamber, and for a terrifying reason. Ancient texts describe rivers of mercury flowing through the tomb, and modern tests show dangerously high levels of mercury in the soil around it. If true, the tomb is essentially a poisonous death trap waiting for anyone who dares to open it. 10. The skulls with holes, Peru. Archaeologists in Peru uncovered skulls with precise round holes drilled into them, evidence of ancient brain surgery known as trepanation. The shocking part? Many of these patients survived, as bone regrowth was visible around the holes. The idea that ancient civilizations carried out brain surgery without modern tools is both fascinating and terrifying, especially when imagining the pain and crude methods used. 11. The Tomb of the Crystal Skulls, Belize. In Belize, archaeologists found a crystal skull that some believe carries a curse. The artifact is so perfectly carved that even modern technology struggles to explain how it was made. Legends say these skulls were used in rituals that connected humans to otherworldly powers. While skeptics dismiss the supernatural claims, the eerie perfection and mysterious origins of the skulls leave many unsettled. 12. The Cannibal Caves of Germany. In Herxheim, Germany, archaeologists uncovered thousands of bones from the Stone Age that revealed a horrifying truth. Entire communities had practiced cannibalism. Evidence showed bones were butchered, cracked open for marrow, and even cooked. This discovery revealed a dark and terrifying side of early human survival and ritual. 13. The Vampire Graves of Bulgaria. In several sites across Bulgaria, archaeologists found skeletons buried with iron stakes driven through their chests. These so-called vampire graves reflected a deep fear of the undead during medieval times. Locals believed these individuals would rise from their graves to feed on the living. Standing over these remains, archaeologists admitted the discovery felt like walking straight into a horror story. 14. The Tomb of the Screaming Woman, Egypt. Among the many mummies in Egypt, one stands out as truly disturbing. Known as the Screaming Mummy, this body was discovered twisted in agony, mouth wide open as if frozen mid-scream. Some theories suggest she was poisoned, others say she was buried alive. Either way, her eternal scream is one of archaeology's most haunting sights. 15. The Island of the Dolls, Mexico. The Dolls. Though not strictly an ancient discovery, this archaeological-like site is horrifying in its own right. On an island near Mexico City, archaeologists and visitors alike have found thousands of decaying dolls hanging from trees, placed there to ward off evil spirits. The dolls, many missing eyes and limbs, create a terrifying atmosphere that feels more like stepping into a nightmare than history. From screaming mummies and cursed tombs, to ritual sacrifices and plague pits, archaeology does not always reveal wonders, it sometimes uncovers nightmares. These discoveries remind us that history is not just filled with beauty and knowledge, but also with pain, terror, and mysteries that may never be fully explained. Perhaps some things buried should stay buried. But as long as archaeologists keep digging, the earth will continue to reveal its most terrifying secrets.